Okay, welcome to Friday, everybody, the last day of the week, and we made it through the week. Today we are going to have a repeat of Monday's live stream since we had technical issues. So we will have Nick and Jacob talking about the live files versus the offline files. So Nick, go ahead and take us away.
Yeah, thank you for being there today. This is Friday, and so that's the best day of the week. And yeah, thank you for introducing the show today, Haley. And yeah, this is a remake of Monday show, and so we try to do the same show, but we we talk a lot of things, so we try to keep talking about the same thing. Okay, so Jacob, you're here with me to support that effort of redoing it, and
Yes, sir.
so so what do you think about what is your expectation about you're thinking about the local file versus share file, online file.
I mean, I would start off at an introductory level. Kind of last time we covered a little bit of what it looks like to use a file locally, what some of the risks are with that, also some of the benefits. Actually, technically, there are performance benefits for that. And then some of the things that you get out of it when you move something up to a server, i.e. you have at that point a hosted file. You can do more multi-user access and stuff like that. And then, yeah, I don't know. We can maybe take some more questions from the either take questions from the crowd or maybe retread some of the other. We had some other good details that we went over last time as well that might be good to go back through.
So let me explain the big difference here between a shared file and a file that we have locally. So let's first explain what locally mean and what shared mean. Okay, hosted, shared, hosted. Okay, so what this mean? Because those are terminology that you're going to encounter in our courses, and you're going to listen people talking about that. So it's important for, especially for beginners, to know what it is. So locally, a file locally, that means it's a file in your machine. It's a file in the machine you have on your desk. Okay, it's not outside. It's not on the cloud. It's not on the server. It's there in your hard drive in your machine. That's what we call locally. A hosted file can be is a file hosted file that is located into a server. Okay, so another machine, not yours, is another machine. So it can be a machine, another machine next to the corner of the desk. Can be a machine in the same building, somewhere in the same building, or can be a machine outside the building, or can be a virtual machine somewhere in the world. We call that cloud, right? So this is what we call hosted. So local means in your machine here, and hosted means somewhere else, and you remote access the file via your network. Okay, so this is a big difference. So now, why do we need to have a file locally located or a file hosted? Okay, so for multiple reasons. The first obvious reason, you want to host the file if you want to share the file with other users. To do that, you need to host the file somewhere. You cannot have the file locally. Although the version of FileMaker that we have today and since the beginning of time allows you to share a file, okay, from your machine to other users. Okay, but we call that a peer-to-peer connection. Peer-to-peer connection. So what that implies, first of all, you have a lot of limitation. You cannot say, oh, I'm going to use that as a server for my 200 employees. No, you cannot. You're limited to 5 people. Okay. Then you are limited in performance. It's not meant for that. It's not meant for be used as a production. Okay. The peer-to-peer sharing, the sharing that we have here. So let me share my screen right quick here. So the sharing that we have here, let me open our, this file here. Okay. So the sharing that we have here, manage sharing, and you have share with FileMaker client. See this one? So that the sharing thinking here, the configure peer-to-peer sharing. So now for me it's off, but I can be on, and then now I can now the people in the same network as I am now can share the file with me. But this is only for 5 people, and you are very limited in configuration. You're limited in performance, in bandwidth. You're limited on the many aspects of this. Okay, it's not for this. So why this is for? This is for if you when you want to test your solution. You know, you want to test your solution. Say, hey, how this calculation behaves with other clients. How this feature I build, how this behaves when you have multiple person on the same record, for example. You know, you say, I want to see if I'm bulletproof, if the record is busy, or if the layout is busy, whatever. You know, you want to test something, or if you want to test your layouts and your solution over a mobile device. You know, so in that case, you will share you share your file, and you test your file on the mobile device. That's the only way you can test a file on the mobile device, by the way, if you don't have the file shared. Okay, so on the host, on the server. So this is what peer-to-peer means. It's just for debug and building and test purposes, or if you have you and your secretary, you want to share the file, you can use that. Okay, I mean, you don't need the big, you know, if you have a small file, you know, like a contact application, and you have your secretary on the next, in the next door, the office next door, and you just want to do that. But other than that, you need to go to the host. You need to go to the server. So any question about this? Haley, Jacob,
No.
No, I think that's good. The one other thing I would note here, so and the reason it is really good to frame this as, you know, it's okay for testing, basically. If you need to do a little test, if you need to do something that's very small scale, it really doesn't matter, and you're confident of that fact, is because in this situation where you're doing peer-to-peer sharing, you know, with somebody in your office, or at least on the same Wi-Fi or something like that, right? The same local network. Mm-hmm. You want to be very careful, because if your FileMaker crashes, you need to go to a backup. And the problem is you may not have a backup if you are not specifically making one. And this, for me and for kind of business resilience type considerations, is why we so strenuously recommend servers specifically, is because that's free, basically. That's what a server does. So this can be fine. It's great for testing. If you just need to mess about with something, or, you know, you keep a few contacts in a thing, and the secretary in the other room needs to do it, whatever. For most people, that actually will be okay. You just want to be careful if you're making changes in that or updating details fairly often. You need to be making your own backups of that manually, because FileMaker won't do it for you. And the way that you need to do that is FileMaker needs to be totally closed, and you need to like copy and paste the file somewhere, Dropbox, iCloud, but put it somewhere else. That'll, you know, then that's your backup, right? On a flash drive, I don't know, whatever, but something like that.
Yeah, knowing that you cannot copy a file that is open. If you copy a file open, you crashed it. I mean, you don't crash, you damage it. So you corrupt.
You copy a corrupt copy, is what it is.
Yeah. So exactly. So we're going to explain that during the time we have here. So now you say, okay, why do we need to have a local file? First of all, you cannot create a file from your client here and say create new on server. So you cannot create a file on server. You need to create a file locally. You know, create a file. Okay, you have a new blank file. Okay, so you create a file and you say, okay, demo. Okay, so you have a file. So this is your file, the demo file, and you say, okay, it's here. Okay, So this is a file. So you need to build the file and it's local in your machine. Okay. So now, so then you can start, building a little bit or do a minimum things, right? Whatever. You can leave it there, right? And then you can, now that you create the file, you can say, okay, I want to share the file on the server. So you need to have a server up and running, okay? And you need to upload to the host, okay? So you upload the file from using this feature here. You say file, sharing, upload to host. And then here it gives you, so here it says there's a security alert because this file you have here doesn't have any strong password. So when you share on the server, you have a kind of a security problem here. But for the moment, we just ignore it. So here it's okay. The file demo will be closed before proceeding with the upload. I'll say, okay, I'm fine with this. And then he asks you which server you want to use, right? And then just tell you, okay, I want to use that server and I want to upload the file. So you enter your password, you log in to the server. This is how the file will be uploaded to the host, okay? But as you see here, you need to start building the file. What's the name? You need to start building the file locally. So you create a file locally and then you upload it. Okay. So that's the first thing. Second thing about local file, you have things that needs to be done locally. Okay. So what needs to be done locally? For example, let's say you have a file that is a host for let's say a year or two. Okay. So and you want to do some kind of a clean up, you want to clean up things. Maybe you want to do big janitor cleanup, like removing, exporting records, and removing, let's say, keep the last 5 years of records and remove all the other records. And you want to make kind of an archive system and stuff like that. You want to export the records and to archive them and stuff like that. So to do that, it's better to have the file locally. Okay, it's better to download the file from the server to your hard drive. Okay, and then you have more freedom to do things like that. You open the file, you clean up the file, and then when you're done, you close the file and you re-upload. So you download from the server and you upload to the server when you're done. Also, there are things that you can do, and that I suggest people do that often. We didn't mention that on Monday, but that's something I wanted to mention, and I'm doing now. It's the what's the name? When you open here, let's say I open this file here. After a while, you have we talked this week about this phenomena. The phenomena of fragmentation of the file. So the file gets fragmented, and then you start having a bloated file for no reason. So you have gigabytes used on the hard drive on the server for absolutely no reason, that you could clean up the file and get back some precious gigabytes, especially when you pay your cloud service. And so you use this kind of save a copy as, and you want to save the copy as compacted copy. This is what you do when you want to clean up the empty space of the fragmentation. We explained that earlier, this week.
We'll put out a video and you guys can watch that as well.
Yeah,
we did a full treatment of kind of basic file repair and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. This is just a short version of that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so that you cannot do that on server. You don't have access to the save record as from server. You have access to these options here. This only in the file local, and the recovery as well. Those two are available on the local copy of the file, right? So that's why, you know, local file is not something you need to ignore. Okay, it's something you need to learn to use, right? So now, do you have any question here, or Ailey on?
Yeah. So I have a question from Anthony on YouTube. He says, close the file, copy or zip for backups, but does it become a read-only if put zipped and unzipped later? I posted it in Discord too if you want to read it from there.
Okay. So yeah, sorry, my
Oh,
camera
he's
doesn't work.
asking about how to do the manual backup probably for if you're using the file locally. So yeah, so you do need to close the file, as I mentioned. I just tell people to exit FileMaker because that's a much easier step to take. Sorry if you have like other apps open, because right, it'll close them all. But yes, and then you're going to either copy and paste the file once FileMaker is closed, once the file is closed entirely. You can zip it, but if you're on Windows, for example, it'll like Windows lets you go into a zip file, you know, pretending like it's a folder or whatever. And that can get you into trouble because actually what that does is it'll extract the database into a temp directory when you open it. That won't ever make it read-only, but if you do something with that and then you go away later, like that was a temp directory copy of the database, so it gets eaten by Windows the next time you reboot or whatever, and that is probably not what you're desiring to do. So just be aware of that. But on Mac, if you double click on a zip file or whatever, it'll extract it and spit it out for you. So
Yeah. So yeah, this is it's nothing to do with FileMaker, by the way. Yeah, it's a Z problem. Anything else, Haley? So we can
No?
continue maybe. Okay,
No,
cool.
there's nothing else.
So yeah, so now you have to know something about a local file. When the file is located locally, when is on your computer, and when the file is hosted, you have slightly difference in behavior. Okay, so first of all, I want to mention something we didn't mention last time, and I want to do it now because it's important. How many of you have a file that started small like that in the middle of the screen all the time when you're on the server? Let's say you have a file and you upload the file, and each time you open the file, the window is completely off. It's small, it's tiny, or it's big, it's super big, and you cannot, each time you open the file from the server, it's coming that way, and you want to change that. Okay. So what you do, you have pretty much most of the time people say, oh, okay, at startup you have a script that moves the window and resizes it. Okay, so but you can avoid that. Okay, so why? Is because FileMaker will remember the position of the window locally. Let's say here I have the file here, demo. Is here now. If I close it and I reopen it, it reopens. Oh yeah, because it's on the it's on the wrong. Hold on. Okay, so let's say I do this. Okay, I do this. Okay, so I close the file and I reopen it. You open here. Oh yeah, it's because my screen is too small. That's why it's doing this. But anyway, locally it will remember where the last position of the window and the last size of the window. We call that the dirty window state. This is how FileMaker call it. They call that dirty window state. I don't know why they call that dirty, but it's the terminology of their internal kind of lexical. So if you want the server to start the window in the right position all the time, open your file locally on your computer, position your window the way you want, okay, Unfortunately, see, because maybe because because my screen is super small, so maybe I can do that. I can just make it this smaller because okay, so maybe now it will work. It will just remind, you know. So if I close now, do it demo. Yeah, see, it opened there. So that means, let's say now, you see this window here. So the window is here. Okay, the window is here. I reopen it. You open there. Bam. Okay. Let's say you upload the file right like as is to the server. Each time you open the file, it will open the position that size at that place. So before you upload the server, or after when you did it, but you want to correct that problem, you download the file from the server, you open locally, you position your window where you want, the size you want, okay? Okay, so you close it, and now it will always on the server. Okay, yeah, hold on. I need to. Okay. Okay. See, so now it's open. So something you need to know about the window. For the window to stay, for the window to for FileMaker to keep the Windows position, you need to make some modification. You need to modify the file. For example, you create a record and you delete it after that. You know, in order FileMaker to keep that's why it wasn't doing it. It wasn't doing it because I wasn't modifying the file. So you position your window, you do a change. For example, you change whatever thing here. You create a record or whatever, and then you close it. So now the file is ready to be uploaded to the server, and the window will always be in that position, in that size by default when you open the file from the server. So that's a good thing to know. Okay. So any question about this?
Nothing yet.
Okay, so it's quiet. The other thing that changed completely from a file located on the server and locally being in the computer is the global field. So I'm not going to explain about the global field here. It is, but it's pretty much it's a field that is available to all records. So let me explain. So this is a global field. Okay, so I'm creating a field that is global. You go storage and you say use global storage here. They give you kind of an explanation here what it is across all records. See, okay, so in action what that means. So let's say I have this and I'm showing the global. Okay, so here I have my global field here. So I'm creating records here. Okay, and I have my global field here. If I'm putting Nick here, you see Nick is available everywhere. If I'm going here and I'm saying Jacob instead of Nick here, it's not changing for that record only, it's changing for all the records. See? So the global, that means you put data in that field and the data are, let's say, always there on the global field. Okay? So let's say now I'm closing that file and I'm reopening. Okay? Here what happened. This is what happened. Jacob's here. Okay? If I remove Jacob, no, don't worry. I'll put it back. We keep you. Don't worry about that.
No,
we keep you.
Away.
No, you're locked up. And so so here the global is empty. Okay, so now you say, okay, Nick, so far so good. Yeah. But that's the behavior that pretty much whatever you left in the global field, oh my gosh, this is so annoying. Sorry for that. So whatever you left in the global field, okay, will be there available when you reopen the file. That is the behavior when you are local. When you are local, that's the behavior. Okay. So let's say now I'm opening another file here. Let's say I'm opening a file that I have online. Okay, I'm using this one. This is the one I'm using every day, so that's why I'm using this one. So I will do the same thing. I'm going to create a. Hold on. See, I'm opening the file here. Okay, so I'm here, right? I'm in this layout here, and I'm going to I'm going to do the same here. I'm going to create a global field, okay, and I'm going to make it global, okay. So I create a global field, and the file is shared, okay. So I put the file the field here, okay. I'm putting the field here in the middle, just for testing, okay, just for the test. So the field is here, is my global, and I say Nick and Jacob, okay? So this is I put there, and you can see it's a global. All the records as this, Nick and Jacob, okay? It's a global. The file here is hosted on the server. So let's say now I close this file, and I reopen it, okay? So I close it, and the next day I come back, and I come here, right? And here what happened. It's empty. Where's my Jacob and Nick? It's gone. Okay. So when you have a global on server, the data you have on the server, on the global, is only for you. Only for you. That means another user won't see what you have. Let's say you have 3 users. I put whatever here, and another user can put whatever he wants, and another user can put whatever he wants again. Each user have their own global, and they can put whatever they want, okay? And whatever you put on the global here is valid the time of the session. That means if you put that and you close the file, it will be gone. So that is the behavior number 1 on the server. Now what you need to know, that's very important. Let's say you have here, see you have a global here. And in that global, on my file that is local, this one is local, I have Jacob here, okay? And I share the file on the server right now, okay? What happened is, all the time, every time I'm going to open that file from the server, Jacob will be here. Even if I open the file, remove Jacob, okay? If I close the file, it will come back. Jacob will come back all the time. Why? Because when I opened the file locally and I uploaded the file with the global field with Jacob, I upload the file in that state. That will be the state of the file when I will reopen it. If you want that to stop, you need to remove the. If you want that to stop, you have the file on the server, and you want to remove that. You need to remove the field and create another one, or you need to download the file from the server, open it locally, wipe out the global, and send it back. Okay. So any question on this?
That can be useful too, because one of the things some people do with that, for example, is to you can think of it like you could set some default preferences in a file.
Yes.
Usually we build things with like an actual preferences table or something like that. But one of the usefulnesses of that actually is that I think they call it like global burn-in or something like that, because it sticks with the file and it's always there, and it's kind of like burning the shadows in on your monitor or something like that. But what that lets you do is, if you want people to be able to say set their own colors or something, and you have the color in a global, great, and you want it to default to the company's colors by default, you can save that basically in the file, but still make it available for others. And so then they can set that, and your startup script is going to go find that user specific information off some table somewhere, and then put that, it puts it into their global at the startup time, and then they're good to go. They have their own preferences built in. But
Yes.
if somebody you've never
that's
heard of, somebody you don't know, somebody who's never configured anything in their life comes and logs into the file, what'll happen is they'll get whatever you've put into the file. They'll get the defaults.
Yes. So this is exactly what happened here on my startup script. This is a subscript of my startup script. So so as you said, you can put those defaults locally. So you download the file locally, and then you have the default coming automatically on all of those are globals. All of those are global fields. G, 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 G. Link and G, 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 all of those are global. Okay. So sometimes you can do that, and sometimes you cannot. You create a file, you create the field, but you cannot take down the file. You know what I mean? Because people are working in it, and you cannot take down the file. So you use a set global kind of script to set the global. But you're right. You can set up the default of global by downloading the file, set up all the globals with those data, and then re-upload, and then you can just remove those things, because they don't, they will come automatically. So those are fundamental differences of behavior that people need to know, because you can get surprised when you what's the name? You can get surprised when you do that, right? You say, okay, why each time I'm logging in, why I have this coming, right? Sometimes you don't know, why it's coming, right? Or you say, I just put that in my in my field, I close, and each time it's not coming back. Each time I restart the software, right? So that's the reason why. If you have this kind of behavior, that means that field is a global, right? And you need to treat the global differently. Any question on this?
No questions anywhere right now.
Okay, so now another aspect about that I want to talk about the file to be located locally or hosted on the server is what happened on the file when you have a crash. Let's say you hear a crash. Can be anything. Can be you did a mistake. You have a script going wild, and you want to quit this, and you want you want just to go you want just to go here and force quit FileMaker. You force quit it. So because something happened, or just he said, oh, I quit it because an error occurred or whatever, So you force quit, bye, nothing else. So what happened here is that the file on the server doesn't give it, it doesn't care if you did that. The file is on the server. For the file on the server, it never crashed. The file never crashed. Your session stopped, but the file didn't crash, okay? Because the file is still there on the server. The server, if the server crashed, your file crashed. You damage your file. But here, if you crash your client, the file is not touched. It's untouched. It's not damaged. There's no problem like that. So that's why it's kind of much more secure to have a file hosted on the server.
Maybe worst case if your FileMaker crashes and you're hosted on a server, you lose your last 5 minutes of work or something like that.
Lose. Actually, I can.
It's the last time you saved, right? But that's it.
Yeah, I can explain what you lose. You lose whatever in that memory. So the file cache settings. Okay, so this is what you lose if you crash your server, if you crash your file that is hosted on the server, you lose whatever is in that buffer. Okay, what is in that buffer and not committed? Because if you commit if you have a record, for example, and the record is open, okay, you didn't commit the record, and you type text in, let's say you have a big text and you type, you didn't commit, and whatever, poof, it crashed. FileMaker crash. Okay. So in that case, more likely you lost whatever you just typed. Okay. Now, if you commit the record, you didn't lose it. So, and that also the reason why, and that is a good conversation that we have here, because let's say I am in layout mode here, and I'm doing plenty of stuff here, right? Changing this, and I'm doing whatever, I'm adding a button, and blah, and I'm adding a portal. Okay, I'm doing plenty of stuff, right? Adding the portal here, and the file crash. I didn't save the file, anything. It was just open like that. If I reopen it, well, what I've done is gone. So that happen on the file, that the local on server, the same thing. So that's why you have to learn to save your layout. So most of the time, when I'm doing this and I'm doing this, I always have the command or Alt S, to save the save layouts. Command S, the save, like save file. You need to have the same. So you have two things. When you build a layout, you need to save the layout more, as much as possible, especially when you're on a server. You save the layout as much as possible, and for the record, you commit the record as much as possible as well. Okay, to commit the record is meaning you go here and then you click outside. That commits. Okay, click, you change here, you change, and you commit. You see, this is commit. So this is the big differences between. So the cache here. So that's why some people say, "Oh yeah, I want plenty of cache here." Okay, yeah. It's not a good idea to have a big cache, especially if you are a developer. If you have a developer, keep the minimum here. Okay, so there's two things. Let's say you have a client, you have a customer, a user. Okay, you have a user that doesn't build layouts. It doesn't build layout. It doesn't go to schema. It doesn't create scripts, right? It doesn't do that. Just use FileMaker. Use your production. You go to the preference and you say, okay, the guy has some kind of a nice computer. You can go to, you can go to this. Okay, pretty much. You can do that. No problem. You can do that, or 512 or something like that. You can do that. That's okay. But as a developer, I don't, because that will help the performance of the file. Okay, so that means Richard has explained that last week about the performance in the memory and stuff like that, the cache. It will help the searches. It will help the churn, like he said. Remember the things, the churn. It helped that. It helped for the search. It helped for the sort. It helped for it keeps the index in memory, so it doesn't have to call again, go to the server and call back the file and stuff, the records. So it helps. More cache you have, more data you will be able to cache. Now, you don't care if you lose that cache when you use the software, because the worst case scenario, instead of being faster, it will be a little bit slower the first time, because you have to reload that cache, right? So that's the worst case scenario. But if you have, one day I saw something like this, like a maximum, like 99999, like this, right? And or 24, actually they limited this.
Oh, I was going to say they limited it. I didn't know it was that low.
Yeah, before because people were doing stupid things. So let's say you do that, so you have 2 gigabytes of memory, of cache, and you are a developer. That means you if anything happens, you're going to lose. Look, you know what? I'm talking about somebody that worked for 5 hours. I worked 5 hours like crazy. My computer crashed and I lost all those 5 hours completely. I lost those 5 hours of work. I said, what happened? I worked all day and it's what? Yeah, it is. Because I didn't see that. I wasn't using my computer. I was using a shared computer because my laptop was on repair, and I didn't see that the previous user put the maximum here, right? And I lost it. I lost everything because something happened, and it didn't. All my stuff were in cache, and I lost all my work. And since then, I said never again. So maybe they improved that. I don't know if that's what happened to me 6 years or 7 years ago, still valid, but still. That's a question here. Question from David on Twitch. If I want a global to everyone, yeah, the same question of last. I love it. I create a table with one. Yes, this is it. No, it's a good way. So the question is, if I want a global to everyone, I create a table with one record only and set the security to not be able to create a record. Yeah, it's a better way. Yeah, no, there's not a better way. This is a way. So we call that the session kind of a session type. When you want to transfer data from a global to another field to another user. Actually, I think I still have it. I call it bad. Okay, hold on.
Yeah, it was there.
It
was in your recent on your FileMaker.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I remember. See, so let's say you have a record here, and you have something. Let's say you have here, and you have something under. It's a global field. You have status. You have let's say talking too much. Okay, and you want to share the global. So you have another table here. You have one. You have one table with one record, right? And you share like this. You have here. You say you want to share. So here you can do this, and you can show the shared data here, right? And sorry, my screen is very small. So here what happened when you do that. So share data, share global. You share the global. See. So and then somebody else can go from project, for example, and you want to get the status from the global that you share. You say get status, right? So it's a third kind of share data. You have the share data here, and everybody is asking the data. So since you have one record, you just need what we call the Cartesian link. Okay, so that gives me the opportunity to talk about the Cartesian link. So here, when you have a relationship between two tables on FileMaker, okay, you say, oh, okay, I want when that field match that field, I want the data. Match to match, right? But sometimes you say, okay, I don't give a damn about what the match field is. I just want the data. Give me what it is. Make me a relationship to that table with everything. I don't care. Okay, we call that Cartesian link. Okay, so the Cartesian link will get whatever record from that table. So, but don't panic if you have multiple records like this, because what happened with the Cartesian link, it will always use the first record. So if accidentally you have additional record, it doesn't matter, because it doesn't matter, because it will use always the first record, always. The first record you created. So unless you delete that record, so now that record will become the record you need. It will be used, right? The record that be used. See, up, go there. Project, get. So this is how you do. Yes, Cartesian relationship. Yeah. I turn on automatically save layout change. Yeah. Yeah. Scott. I turn on automatically save layout change, but that doesn't save your layouts when you do things. Doesn't. Automatically save is only. That's a question from Scott. I turn on automatically save layout change, to prevent the crash and stuff like that. Yes, it's true. But just what this does, it does this layouts. Where's the view? Where's the turn off? Where in layout I said save automatically. Oh, is it?
That's in preferences. Yeah,
preference. Yeah, layout. So, save layout change automatically. Do not ask. What that does, it does this. Okay, let's say you change things, and you do things like this. You do this, and you do a button, and you do this, and okay. So here, what it does. My layout is not saved. It's not. It's only say when you go back to when you exit layout mode, he asks you, "Oh, do you want to save this?" Okay, and then you say yes, no, don't save, yes, and you can say save layout change automatically. It won't ask that question, but it won't save the layout as you build things. You still need to go to save the layout, right? See, save the layout. Now the save is grayed out because I didn't have a change. But if I move something here, now I have save layout. It doesn't change automatically. You know what I mean? It doesn't ask, do you want to change? That's it, Yeah. Yeah, it's a Scott. It's a good Scott say. Yeah, I get what you say. Yeah, no, I just use this opportunity for other. I know it's for other people, especially beginners that doesn't. They might be confused with the terminology here because they say, "Oh, save automatically." Oh yeah, I check this box and I don't care now. It's saved. No, it's not. It's not save always. Always save. No, it's not. Other question here, Haley from Twitch, YouTube, and
No, it is quiet today.
Yeah, it's Friday.
Yep.
Yeah, so I think we cover everything. I try to remember what we did last time, and I think I cover everything here.
That's most of it. The only other thing that I harped on was backups, because that's the other awesome benefit. Other than, right, if your FileMaker crashes, maybe you lose a little work or something, but it won't destroy the file. The benefit of being on server is backups. But yeah, I can.
Yeah, backup is important. So
I can beat that drum one more time if you want.
Yeah, no, it's important to see. For example, see this. Let's say I open this file, the demo file here, and let's say I'm copying. I copy this file. Okay, so let's create a new folder here, and let's drag. Okay, close this, and let's drag this here, and then I can close this and open this because I want you to see that. And you open the file here, and I duplicate the file open. Okay, so I copy the file. I made a backup. The file open. Now I close this. Okay, so now if I open the backup, it says it's this file is damaged. And more you do, let's say now I open the file and I do another backup. Okay, I close it and I damage it again even more. Okay, I close it and hold on. I open it, I copy the file and I open it. This one again. So as you do that, you do copy of copies of copies. I'm pretty sure if I start to recover that file, it will find something. So it will find something wrong.
Yeah. I think it's not complaining in this particular scenario purely because you're not touching anything in the file.
Yeah, I didn't touch anything. Yes.
As soon as there's any changes, you basically instantly have a problem.
Yeah, exactly. But if I do, let's redo that. That's a good test, by the way. So let's say I'm doing this. I duplicate the file. So now I open the duplication, and I delete all. I delete all record, and I create new. I create new records. Okay. Now, hold on. I need to keep that open. I copy this. I open this copy again. I delete all, and I open new. And I copy this, open this, and I close the other one. I'm pretty sure if I, let's say I delete some of the file here, some of the records. I'm pretty sure if I recover this, it will complain.
Oh, no, it already has the recover. Do you see it?
Yeah. So
it already generated one.
It created automatically. So see, the file and generate a new that data. The constituted check or block of the original file recover those.
Yep. So there it went through and rebuilt the entire file. And because it's local, that happens pretty fast, and you may not notice.
Yeah, exactly.
So it'll like it did. He popped it right back open again. It'll it'll let you open it. Basically, it won't give you any kind of error. If that line right there, the big long one that says we didn't detect, we rebuilt it, and it was basically successful. If that is the endpoint, then it'll basically just let you open it. But that is not risk free.
Yeah. So see, it says this: check of improperly closed files. So that means doing what I've done here. That means duplicating a file that is open, okay? Or just open the file and crash it. That's the same thing. You have the same damage. It will say the file has been closed improperly. Like let's try it. I open this file. It will change the demo log to say that doesn't have, it didn't close correctly or something like that. It didn't change it. No, it didn't change it. Anyway, because I didn't do any change on the like you said, I need to do a change. But anyway, don't do that. That's
the short version.
That's the demo.
You're asking to introduce corruption into the file, and we beat that drum also over and over again because if you're lucky, it's really expensive to get out. If you're unlucky, you can't, and you end up having to rebuild the file. So you want to avoid that if at all possible.
I'm looking the discussion on the Discord here. Say the autosave is misleading. Moki said that autosave is misleading. It is. Because it's not auto-saving. Is a do not ask question. It's not auto-saving. It's this terminology is very misleading. So there's comments. Haley is giving me some comments here. So we are comment on Twitch global calculation as user open hosted file. I don't know why. On YouTube, you said that search behave differently. Yes, I said that, but I can't demonstrate. I don't remember what was the difference, and I didn't. I'm sorry, I forgot about this. I forgot to do a research what makes the difference. Look, I'm going to investigate that because the question comes all the time, and so I'm going to investigate and I'm going to make a kind of I'm going to have a webinar about performing finds in a very nice way, cool way, and I'm going to address that during that webinar. Yeah, scoping the file while it's running is a big no-no. Yeah, Moki, right. Abbreviate demonstration, very wrong order. Don't duplicate or copy-paste file from. This is a lesson. So I think we're good to go. We can land the plane on time for the first time.
No, since Tuesday. No, Tuesday or Monday, one
No,
of
I
these
mean,
days.
no,
Yeah.
people need to know it's the problem here, especially when I address something. Most of the time, I'm talking about things that are a little bit complex, and it takes longer to get to the final points. You know what I mean? I cannot just. I did that. I did last 2 weeks ago. I did that with the CalStar window. It was a week a week kind of discussion, and I did that in 1 hour, and I rushed it, and nobody understood because I jumped to the conclusion right away. So when you need to do that, you need to build up the thing, and most of the time you cannot do that in 1 hour time, especially when you have to answer questions and stuff like that. And so I apologize if sometimes my sessions are longer. But now you know when Nick is talking, that takes longer because I'm not addressing. The boss is addressing the beginners and mostly stays on the kind of beginner to intermediate, and then I jump and I go to the ninja level, and but I don't want to neglect the beginners neither. So I'm spending kind of the first quarter or the first 20 minutes to go to the point where I can start making my demonstration. Yeah, just a question here. There's sorry, yep. Moki said, "Is a count start window available?" Okay, now
that's
next week we have 3 days. Not 1 day. We have 3 days webinar. But expect also that during that 3 days, the session to last 1 hour and plus 1 hour plus. Not sure I can do that in only 1 hour, but it will last 3 days. The CalStar window. So that Moki asked me. So sorry, Haley, I interrupt you.
No, you're fine. I was going to cover that next, so you're totally good.
Oh.
You just got a little bit ahead of me. But yeah, so as Nick said, that will start this next Monday on 9/14. So Moki and everyone else, come back and join us then. Otherwise, thanks again for today, and everybody have a good weekend.
Thank you, Ellie. Thank you, Jacob. Thank you, everyone.
Yep, thank you. Thanks, everyone, for attending.
Bye.
Just stepped up the whole way. Calm, cool, collected. The quarterback, great read, good patience. More importantly, great job up front protecting this quarterback to give you a chance. And that's all you can ask for.
Try to rally down 10. 9:25 to go here in the fourth. Short motion by Amendola from the left. Brady takes the shotgun snap. Stands in, throws it left for Amendola. Reaches up and snacks a high throw and lands inside the 10. Rolling to the 9. Ball slightly behind him, but Danny makes the grab.